What's up, YouTube? I am James Wertz. I'm a finished carpenter here in Denver. I'm 22 and I've been running my business for about 3 years now. Today I'm going to show you what's in my tool tote, the stuff that I carry with me to go do smaller jobs, smaller installations, punch list items, stuff like that. So if you're new to carpentry or just looking to refine your setup, this might give you some ideas. So let's talk about why a tool tote and why specifically this one. I found for going to do smaller jobs, it makes sense to have a built-up kit where I can just take it in one trip onto the job site and knock out the project. Now, oftentimes, you're not gonna have everything you need. Obviously, I've got the trailer behind me that's just full of tools, but this gets the job handled a lot of the time. So I chose to use the Milwaukee Packout. This is their 20-inch version tool tote. The nice thing about this is it snaps into the Milwaukee Packouts, and I've got 2 sets of Packouts, 2 stacks of them, and they're both on rollers. So if I do have a bigger job, usually I'll roll those right onto site, and this guy is with them. I'd say overall the Milwaukee works really well. My only complaint is this middle partition. The backside sometimes gets a lot of stuff in there, which bends this middle partition in a little bit. But other than that, it works really well. Okay, so quick overview of this. The front side I mainly use for hand tools, smaller hand tools like screwdrivers or pliers. And then the back side, I've got larger hand tools back here like hammers or crowbars or stuff like that. So let's take a closer look and show you everything I've got in here. Okay, so this is the front of the tool tote. I'm gonna go through one by one and show you what I've got in here. All right, starting on the right side, I always keep a sharp chisel. This is a Narex, very nice. In this pocket, I've got an assortment of files. Little torpedo level made by Stabila. Very high quality level, love this thing. Then screwdrivers. I keep a large screwdriver. This can be useful for opening paint cans or things like that, or a little pry bar as well. And then I've got this Wera screwdriver. This is really nice, got a Robertson drive in there right now, but it's a ratcheting screwdriver, which is really nice. And then if you open up this back part, you've got different bits. And then I always keep a beater chisel in here. I do keep an edge on it, but I don't have to worry if that gets dull or chipped. I mean, these chisels are super cheap. So in here, I've got this miter angle gauge. This thing is awesome for doing trim work and finding the degree of cut for an outside corner of baseboard or crown or even inside corner. So basically, you just take this to your wall. Your walls are coming like this. They're usually never at 45 degrees. So this helps you dial it in. It'll tell you if that's a 45.5 or 46 or 44 or whatever. There's one of these that's made by Starrett that's really expensive. I'm sure it's really high quality, but this one is on Amazon and very cheap, and it works well. And then I cut one side here so that I can reach into tighter walls if there's a jog out or something like that. To the left of that are my Knipex Cobra pliers. These are the larger version. I keep the smaller version in my tool belt, but these things are amazing. Jaws open up really wide, easy adjustments, and they just are super quality. So definitely would recommend these. So in the bottom left here, I've got 2 different types of clippers. Don't use these ones too often, but they're handy for cutting a nail or something. These are really nice for removing nails. If I've got an 18 gauge nail that didn't set quite right, I can grab it and roll it over. And with this wide base, it doesn't really dent the wood surface and pulls out nails really nicely. I got these needle nose pliers. These are generic, made in Korea. I got these things from Goodwill. A little rusty, but they actually work really well. In this pocket here, I've got this little compass scribe. It's got the easy adjustment. Pretty easy to use. Over here, I've got a putty knife. It's almost always covered in Bondo. That's really all I use it for, is that all-purpose Bondo. Made by Hyde. Pretty sure I got this from Goodwill too. Over in this right side, I've got two little files here. These are nice for little detailed work. And then I've got a little pick. Now down at the bottom of this thing, I've got two Allen sets here. One is standard, one is metric. These are made by Klein Tools. I always keep some toothpicks in here too, just in a little old pill bottle. These are helpful with working with door hinges and stuff like that. If there's a hole that's drilled into the door jamb and the screw's not grabbing it, I always put a couple of these in there along with some wood glue, and then the screw grabs it really nicely. And then on the right side here, I've got my glue bot that always has Titebond 3 in it. This thing gets pulled out every single day. Okay, onto these front couple pockets here. I've got this Construction Master 5 construction calculator. This calculator is super helpful. I'm always pulling this out. It's such a pain to calculate inches. This thing makes it pretty easy. Okay, so to the right of the calculator, I've got this laser tape measure. This is a Bosch Blaze. Measures super accurately. Never had an issue with it. It's very handy when doing crown molding in a room or baseboard or something like that. Accuracy is top notch. And it is very cheap. I think it's only 40 bucks, so definitely a buy that I would recommend. So on the right side here is a combination square. This one's made by Empire. It's only like 10 bucks at Home Depot. It's pretty accurate. I mean, I've got a Starrett combination square, and this thing's just as accurate as that one. So definitely another buy I would recommend. Works pretty well for the money. All right, on the right side, I've got a little Franklin stud finder. This is my favorite pocket here, and it's because it's got a few of these Fastback 505 knives. These are my all-time favorite knife. I've always got one on my pocket at all times. You've got the blade here. You've got another blade storage underneath here. Easy to use. And then it's also got this screwdriver here, which swaps out into a flathead. And this is my favorite tool that I have. I use this thing every single day. The screwdriver isn't gimmicky like a lot of these are. So I use this all the time, opening up paint cans, removing outlet covers, things like that. This is definitely a buy that I would recommend. All right, moving to the other side. I have got a nail punch here. This is one of the automatic ones that is spring-loaded. So then I've got two of these spring-loaded nail punches. This guy has got a smaller size as well as a larger, and it works very well for a nail that's not quite set all the way. You just spring it back and it hits that metal on metal and sets the nail really nicely. Then this one is for door hinge pins. You go up underneath the door hinge, do the same thing, it pops the pin right out. So when removing doors, this is always in my kit. All right, to the left of those, got a couple things. I've got the Narex marking knife. This works pretty well for scribing. And then I've got this adjustable magnet here with a swivel on the top. This thing comes in handy all the time when I drop something that I shouldn't have. I can get in there pretty well, grab it with this. Got a couple of permanent markers, a Carpenter's pencil, and then my favorite mechanical pencils. These are all Pentel, the P207 and the P209. These are my favorite pencils. I use these every single day. All right, so on the back side of this thing, I'm gonna pull everything out one at a time and show you what I've got. So starting out, these little 6-inch DeWalt clamps. They work. Got a 16-ounce East Wing hammer. Always have a pair of gloves in here. So this is a wind bag. This works really well for lifting up heavy things. You pump up this ball here and it pumps up the bag. So this works very nice to slide it under a door or something if I'm trying to lift the door off the hinges. It's pretty impressive what this thing can do. Definitely something I recommend. So this is a special trim pry bar. Oftentimes when you're using a crowbar to take off baseboard or something, you can very easily pop that right through the drywall. What this does is it separates from the base so that as you pry the baseboard off, it kind of disperses that force. I always have a speed square in here when doing rough framing or something like that. And I keep safety glasses in here too. Got one pair that's a little shaded too for sunny days. I always keep a 12-inch trim hammer in the tool tote. I always have one of these on my tool belt as well, but sometimes I don't have that and I have this. And I always keep masking tape in my bag. Use this all the time. This is the green stuff, frog tape, works really well. And the last two things in the tool tote are my tape measures. I use Stanley Fat Max. I've got a 25 footer and a 16. I'm most often using the 16. Occasionally I'll pull out the 25 and it's nice to have it in here. That's what's in my tool tote as a carpenter. It's always evolving depending on what I'm doing, but it works really well for me. Drop a comment if you guys have any tool suggestions, anything I should add or swap out, or what your favorite tools are. Stay tuned. I'll be dropping a ton more project videos as well as some tool videos. So hit that subscribe button if you want to follow along. And thank you guys so much for watching.